You're listening to The Scrimmage with Daniel Hargrove and Justin Domashevitz.
I'm just gonna see how far you'll go with this. I liked it. It was like somehow it was a very calming noise for me. I'm not sure why.
I'm glad it was calming. Get you.
It reminded me a little bit of our turkeys.
Oh,
I just looked at myself for the first time and realized how red I am.
You are very red.
We need a makeup person. I'm sunburned.
I was gonna say, are you sunburned or are you just flustered?
Well, yesterday at the Seabrook Founders Day Festival.
Yes.
Super fun, by the way.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up, but I'm glad you did.
Yeah, and I got there at like 9.
Whoa.
And I was in the sun all day I don't really burn very easily, oddly, because I'm a fair-skinned Polak, but I spend so much time.
I was gonna say.
I was told recently I'm not supposed to say Polak because it's derogatory, but I'm Polish, so does that make it okay?
I think so, because I'm a fair-skinned Polak too.
Okay, so it's normal for me.
But I burn
that's
like
everything you need to know about this show.
I spend so much.
Should we change the name of the show?
Cut it out, you Gentiles.
Two fair-skinned Polaks and a Norwegian.
I spend so much time in the
I don't
sun
know about Norwegian.
while I'm working that I don't typically burn anymore. I'll get like one kind of mild burn at the beginning of the summer, but it's no big deal, and then I'm just kind of tan as a fair-skinned Polak can be for the rest of the summer. And we were in the sun, and I never felt hot until like it took hours for me to even feel hot. And then I realized
This was yesterday?
Yeah.
Yep. Out at Seabrook.
What was the temperature out there?
It was like
over
65
100 degrees here.
No, it was
It was?
Yeah.
Dude, it was 60. This is crazy. It was like 65 in Seabrook, 75 in Aberdeen, and then
Wow.
it just like kept jumping in 10-degree increments out here.
Wow.
The coast was real yesterday with how much it dampened the heat.
Oceanside 65 feels hotter.
That's true.
A lot of times.
But except for when the wind blew in.
I didn't feel uncomfortable until like the last half hour we were there. It took me several hours to feel hot.
Yeah.
But then once I did, I was like, ooh, my face is getting crispy.
Yeah.
So that's the story of why I look so red. You're welcome.
My children have very fair skin, as you may imagine.
Couple of fair-skinned Polacks.
Yeah, and let's put it this way: when my son, when he was born, had to get transferred to Tacoma General Hospital, and he actually got there before we did. And when we got there, the nurse went, "Oh, thank goodness!" And I was like, "What?" And they're like, "Well, we were a little worried." But now we see how pale you guys are.
That's kind of cold. Like,
It was really cold.
They were afraid that the baby was cold.
They were afraid that he had no color. And then they saw us and they were like, "Oh, that makes sense."
okay. Because you guys are so white, you're clear.
Well, my wife isn't quite as much, but my wife makes fun of me for being kind of a translucent color.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like almost invisible?
So close.
Could be like a
you
superhero.
I know. Vein Man or something.
But that's what people always would say about like the Men in Black, is that they have like almost this translucent skin.
Oh, you're right. You're not talking about the movie Men in Black. You're talking about
the real
Men in Black.
The people
Right.
who would follow up on alien encounters in real life.
Yeah, the
Well,
weird-
quote unquote people.
Yeah. super
Anyway,
weird.
feel free
King.
to message me if you want to know
Hey.
more. 'cause
Francis wants to know how many Polacks do you need for a successful podcast.
Apparently one more.
We're not sure.
Define
Francis.
successful. Does successful
Clearly
mean
more or
does-
less.
does
Possibly
successful-
less.
Does successful mean that you do it consistently over a long period of time, or does it mean that people listen? Because that would be two different things.
That's true.
Anyway, the president.
Anyway, real quick, you're sunburnt because you're out at Founders Day of Seabrook, which Seabrook's 20 years old now, which blows my mind. It's
wow.
exploding.
It's 1
your
year
wife,
away from being able to drink alcohol.
yeah. Angel and the Man and Old Dirty Shoes were out there performing, and they did amazing.
Yeah.
I went out there to witness it. It was great. Not great signage as to where that event was.
Super confusing.
Very confusing, but I'm glad we finally found it, and we had a great time.
On purpose to make sure you wander all over Seabrook.
Well, my impression, anybody who's listening who's not local, this is not going to hit. So just stop listening for like a minute.
Hey,
Yeah.
this is local sports.
Seabrook is very like it's got like a Truman Show kind of a feel. Like it's a very nice neighborhood.
I've heard Truman Show, Stepford
Wives.
Wives.
Yeah. Like it's awesome. Like I spent one weekend there when my dad like rented a big house and had the whole family come out.
Nice.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
And it's an awesome place, and it's right by the beach, and it was a gorgeous day.
Yeah.
They've been expanding so much that I think
much.
this was the first year that they've done the Founders Day celebration in this new little neighborhood.
Yeah.
And it's kind of in the back of everything. And
Way
it's
far back.
confusing to get there,
Yeah.
and you can't follow your navigation for two reasons. One is because
The streets are all different.
maps have not figured out what all the streets are in Seabrook.
They don't know what Seabrook is.
And I kept telling people come in on the front street entrance, and people are like, Google says there's no front street entrance because it literally doesn't. Like, it's not on the map.
I was asking my wife if she could drop a pin, and she's
Yeah.
like, no.
No.
But we were so... She's like, I'm just going to try and find a map of Seabrook. And I was like, why don't you just do the normal way? And she's like, stop.
Yeah.
Stop trying to tell me I'm doing it the best way there is.
Right.
And she got us there.
And well, like literally, what I ended up doing was you can't do directions there. Partly because the map doesn't know what's going on, and partly because they had a Saturday market that blocked off the whole middle of town.
Yep.
So it's going to try to tell
And so you
to
would
go
think,
through it.
oh, the music is probably where they're blocking off the town. So if you were just driving there, everybody saw the blockade, and they're like, oh, look, I got this great parking spot.
Right.
Now I can obviously just walk to where the performance is.
Yeah.
No.
You could. It would take a while.
A half hour.
Yeah. So you like
Seabrook's not that large.
It's
It wouldn't-
expanded.
I don't think it would
and
be a
this
half
neighborhood
it
is
felt like it would be a
way
half
out
hour.
there.
It felt like it would be a half hour
I
because
feel
when
like
you
everywhere in
Justin-
Seabrook is less than a half-hour walk from the
Justin,
beach.
you've seen how I drive now. Imagine how
Yeah.
I'm walking.
I'm just saying, like it feels like the walk would take a half hour because driving there when you get to Seabrook to where the venue is 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But you have to drive like 8 miles an hour through Seabrook because there's so many pedestrians. You could walk half that pace. Like you could walk there in 15 minutes.
With 2 kids.
No.
Yeah. I walk slow. Well, I guess I don't walk slow, but when I'm carrying kids, walk slower.
Yeah, so it was hard to find the venue, but it actually is really cool. And I think what they're doing is because they're expanding. This is the first year that they've done the Founders Day celebration at that separate location. They usually do it in town, but they've set up this big field to be like the spot where all these kind of big outdoor concerts with games and everything can happen. They had food trucks there. Shout out Vitamin Q.
Oh, so good.
I had not only their tri-tip, but also I had some ribs because like when it was over, I was just like walking with my wife to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
There's porta potties up there, and the guys were like, everybody's gone basically except us, and they were like, hey, come over here, I'll hook you up. And so
Are you serious?
I paid for a plate.
Yeah.
But they loaded it up with like 3 times as much as you would normally get. So I went home with a bunch of ribs and mac and cheese.
Dude.
And their food's awesome.
They're so good.
I've now had their food not only at the Young Life Wiffle Ball tournament last year.
Were they at the Wiffle Ball tournament?
Yeah, they were.
Oh.
Yep. And they were, and also they were used at some graduation parties that I went to. And now, having had their food here, I've had kind of a wide variety of like brisket and ribs and tri-tip and like all the different things they do. Vitamin Q, if you're looking for like barbecue catering, they're not a sponsor, so this is a free shout out. But that stuff is awesome.
Yeah, I talked to Mike. So I graduated the same year that Mike Picard, who was one of the owners of it, and yeah, he said they've been doing competitions for a while, and now they're expanding into catering, and it's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's hard, too, because, like, I mean, we're kind of in the weeds here, but, like, when you do things like tri-tip, it's so based on, like if you overdo tri-tip, it gets tough and awful for reasons of that particular cut of meat.
Okay.
It's really hard to do tri-tip in a way that it'll survive in, like, a heated container over a long period of time. And I I had their tri-tip after they had already been open for a few hours, and
Yeah.
it was still incredibly tender
Yeah.
and amazing. But this will conclude the free commercial that we just did for Vitamin Q.
That's true. Can I start talking about how expensive everything Seabrook did was now?
Sure.
It's like an opposite commercial.
Sure,
Is that okay? Is this in a safe space for that?
sure.
They are a massively successful business, right? Mm-hmm. A $2 T-shirt to tie-dye it yourself was $20.
Yeah, why do you think they're successful?
A tiny cup of strawberry shortcake was $6.50. I'm sorry.
They're
When I work
targeted-
for a company that when we do events, we provide ice cream for free,
Beach
and there was
prices.
0 things free there. I was like,
That's not true. You could go on the giant inflatables or play the frisbee games.
okay, so you could
Do kid stuff.
You could do kid stuff.
Yeah.
And they didn't make you pay to go on the inflatable toy.
Wow.
You're right.
There is so
No.
much more scope to increase revenue.
Jeez.
I thought so.
I was like, are you serious right now? Like, we were trying to figure out something to do, and they kept mentioning. They never mentioned the price, by the way. But the guy was like, "Hey, go get a tie-dye T-shirt. Go get some strawberry." And so I walked over to the tie-dye, and I was like, "Okay, cool. How much is it?" Expecting for it to be at least to be something, not free.
yeah.
But I thought it might be free, and they're like $20, and I was like, $20
Were
to
those-
do a tie-dye T-shirt?
So here's what changes
Whoa!
the math for me, because I paid for not only my daughter but also my niece to do tie-dye T-shirts and also face painting, which was $70 combined.
Wait,
But
the face painting cost money too?
15, yeah.
Holy crap!
It was really good.
That's another thing
But-
that I work for a company that literally did a fishing event.
Yeah.
And we had free snow cones and free face painting.
So let me ask you a
Yeah, but
question,
you're
and I
doing
think
it for people in Lewis County.
I think this changes the math.
Seabrook is doing it for people in King County and Snohomish County.
Are the people who were doing that stuff Seabrook employees representing Seabrook, or do they have their own business where they do these things and that's their way to make money?
Okay, so 2 things.
Yeah.
A, when my company did it,
Yeah.
we just paid the upfront fee for everything
okay.
to people who did face painting and the snow cones. So
got
we were
you.
like, hey, we're just going to pay you however much you think it'll cost to provide snow cones to everybody for the whole day. That's what we did. Also, I know some people who work for Seabrook, and they were running the shortcake booth. So I assume, and the Seabrook the shirts were Seabrook shirts.
Yeah.
So I assumed that those were all Seabrook people just making extra revenue for Seabrook. But I could be wrong. But even if they were private business owners, pay them whatever they're going to need to paint 100 kids' faces for a day instead of making people spend however much money to get face painted.
It's beach prices, bro.
But then,
Gosh.
then they'll get locals coming in and.
Oh, you don't want
stuff
them
for
dang
free.
locals.
That'll lower the whole value of the whole town.
I don't know. Do you like?
Half the people there were locals, by the way, because I knew half of them.
Really.
Yeah.
There's a lot of.
I would say most of the people at this celebration were locals. Because do you really think that Seattle snob faces are going to go to the 20th year Founders
No, they
Day
were down at the
celebration?
beach.
Yeah, exactly. They're not at this celebration.
Some of them were, but I think part of the reason that
Is it? My true colors are coming out. Am I getting a little too offended by this?
You
I
are.
feel like
no,
I'm.
you sound really, really old.
I bet.
Back in my day.
Well, it's not even back in my day. It's. I work for a company that likes to take care of people at celebrations, not try and squeeze them for
Also-
more money.
But you also work for a
yeah.
public.
Yeah, you're,
So we have less of a budget. This is a multi-million-dollar organization that has enough money to keep expanding,
you're not-
and they can't provide a tie-dye T-shirt and some face paint.
Really sound like a Democrat right now. I'm
It's
just saying.
bonkers.
More of a free market guy.
How much money do you think they made on that?
You know what? Honestly, I
don't think they made very much.
when I was shelling out $70 for tie-dye T-shirts and face paint, I was like, this seems a little bit excessive.
Right?
But at the same time,
A little.
Francis wants to know if you shopped at the IGA. I'm assuming
no, we
that's
weren't in
also
Shores.
insanely
We weren't in.
expensive.
We weren't in
Probably.
Ocean
No,
Shores.
there's an IGA in. I
In-
believe that there's
in
an
Seabrook.
IGA in Seabrook now.
Is that an IGA? I know it's a grocery store.
No. What?
Francis
Maybe
said
Francis
that
would know.
Francis says that Seabrook isn't confusing because he knows a bald guy who crushes it out there 3 times a week.
Francis, he's
So-
probably lying.
Seabrook
You
has a
cannot
market.
trust
There's a
bald
grocery
people.
store. I was in it. It's not an IGA.
Is it not?
Your
No.
business get government subsidies.
Well, if it's an IGA, it was not marked as an IGA anywhere. It's marked as like
Yeah.
Seabrook Market
Yeah.
or whatever.
Right.
And then you go in there and like an apple costs $8 or whatever.
it's nuts.
You know what? It's like it.
It's one banana, Justin.
So
How
here's the
much can it
thing.
cost?
Here's the thing, Daniel. Seabrook is like marketed towards those Seattle snobs
Yeah.
to
Yes.
come down and take those goobers' money,
It's true.
right?
It's true.
And have it do something good locally.
Yeah.
So like, although I am the guy who dished out $70 for tie-dye t-shirts and face paint, I don't have a huge problem with it.
Yeah.
Because I do think that having Seabrook there does good for the community.
Yes.
He says
And-
the IGA insurers. My bad.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I 100% agree.
Yeah.
But I thought since this event seemed to be marketed locally
Yeah.
and a lot of local people attended, that they might not try and fleece everybody for their normal King County prices. I realized, because my wife said the same thing. She's like, Daniel, they're not doing local prices.
Yeah.
These are all for the Seattle people.
Right. That was my thought too.
And it makes sense.
Yeah.
But then I looked at the people who actually showed up,
Right.
and there was a ton of
It's a
local people
combination,
there.
though.
It's a ton of local people.
And in fairness to Seabrook, if you were to take that whole field,
yeah.
75%, 60% of what was there was free to do. Like they had cornhole, they had a frisbee game, they had this cool game where you like kick a ball and try to get it to stick to a Velcro dartboard.
Yeah.
They had 2 giant inflatables, they had sack races. Like they did have a ton of stuff for kids. Water balloon toss. There was a ton of stuff for kids to do, and since it was marketed as a family event, and if you're looking at all the stuff that kids could do, the 2 things that require like that you get a person to either use an item that they don't get back, or like it takes an extensive amount of labor time, like the face painting. Right. Those are the things that cost money, and everything else was free for the most part.
Yeah. It's still a load of crap. But I get that they're used to just trying to fleece Seattle people for their money.
That it's a combination, though. I think it's a combination that, and it's a combination that you still haven't adjusted to inflation.
No, dude, this is about a business putting on a celebration event.
Yeah.
When you
No,
do
I-
that,
but
you
you're saying-
generally make it a celebration event and not a let's fleece people's money. Because that is also good marketing. Because people come away going, wow, that was so cool. They provided this stuff for him. I feel great. Not me going over, hey, how much is it to do a tie-dye? $20, bye. Like,
Well,
this
yeah.
is, it's good marketing and bad marketing is what it is, Andrew. And they did bad marketing. Because while it was fun, I come away with it with that taste in my mouth of, wow, this is a company that has enough money to keep expanding at a ridiculous rate out there, and they couldn't pay for, at most, 100 kids to get their face painted. That doesn't make me come away with a good feeling in my mouth, a good taste in my mouth.
What kind of good
Mouthfeel.
feeling- what kind of-
Mouthfeel bad.
I was going to ask you what kind of good feeling you wanted in your mouth, but you answered before I could
Yeah.
ask.
Yeah.
Now, by the way, great band there. Shout
Oh,
out Angel Phoenix
awesome.
and the Man.
I hope they paid them well. Please tell me they didn't make them volunteer.
I can't comment on that, but I'll tell you later when we're on our own.
I
between
just
you
hope
and
it
me.
wasn't for free.
They were fairly compensated.
Okay, good.
That was all
Good.
you needed to say.
That's
about
a- yeah,
it.
they
All
were
you needed to say,
compensated.
They were well compensated.
Yeah.
They were compensated. I don't care about how much, but I'm glad they were compensated because
Yeah.
they did amazing and they performed a lot.
Angel Phoenix and the Man. Look them up on Facebook or on Instagram. Also, Old Dirty Shoes.
Old Dirty
which
Shoes.
We're trying to. Did I tell you the story about Old Dirty Shoes and why he's called that?
You did.
Okay.
Yeah, you told me about
It's
it.
pretty funny. But
That's-
you know what? I'm going to save that for another day.
Because we've already
Because
wasted
we've
half of our show
wasted a
complaining
huge
about
intro.
Seabrook. I'm sorry.
So let's kick.
this is
into-
my fault.
Yeah, you're not yourself today.
That's true.
So let's move on to the local sports roundup. Elma Little League's intermediate all-star team is in the midst of a stellar run. After rolling through the district tournament with a 5-0 win over Larch Mountain and a 12-0 win over Prairie, Elma moved on to the state tourney, where they took down North Kitsap 8-2, RUG Northeast Seattle 15-8, Glenwood 20-2, and Chinook 7-3.
Nice.
To advance to the state title game with an unbeaten advantage over Redmond West. Elma lost their first matchup to Redmond West 5-3, but bounced back to win win 5-3 in a winner-take-all state title matchup qualifying for the West Regional Tournament in Nogales, Arizona.
Nogales? 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 Sorry. In Arizona, Elma opened pool play with a three straight wins, dominating Nevada 24-3. Whoa! Yikes! You're not usually busting in a blackjack game in a baseball matchup. They clipped Alaska 10-8, taking down them and winning a pitcher's duel against Colorado 2-1 as they took down those Rocky Dwellers. They wrapped up pool play today at noon against Arizona District 8. Is that like a Hunger Games thing?
I think
the
we'll
elimination
have the results
bracket
of that by the time this local sport roundup is over.
The elimination bracket starts on Tuesday, and Elma would need 3 straight wins to take the regional title.
The intermediate team wasn't the only Elma squad to win a district title this year. The 8 to 10-year-old Elma All-Stars rolled through their district tournament last week. They opened with a 12-2 win over Capital American, then clipped Montesano in a semifinal 15-11 and took down Larch Mountain. Take that, Tenino. 5-3 to win the title. Cooper Smith hit a 2-out, 2-run triple in the 5th inning of the title game, plating Chase Sample and Braden Nolan, and giving Elma a 5-3 lead. Elma lost their state opener 18-1 against Richland National and will be back in action on Monday.
Montesano's 9-11 Little League All-Star team won their district tournament last week. Monty opened the tournament with a 5-0 win over Centralia. Then they took down Chehalis 12-2. And
Take that, Lewis County.
Larch Mountain. Nobody likes you, Larch Mountain. 10-4 to advance to the Title game. When they met Larch Mountain
Title
again.
game. Title,
Right.
Title.
Thank you. Title. Got
Okay.
it. But this time they lost 5-3, setting up a winner-take-all title game, which Monty won 8-1. They kicked their butt. Oh no, they kicked off the state tournament with a win. No, wait, sorry. They kicked off state tournament this morning in West Richland. Riker Chatham,
I think it's Chatham.
and Micah Micah Eaton. I was gonna say Eaton. That's a name we know. Combined to allow just 1 run on 4 hits on the mound for Monty in the title game.
And that will conclude the local sports roundup, but we are going to expand
My bad.
on some of these. You are not yourself today.
That was a struggle.
So-
Seabrook's got me upset.
I wanted to first explain why we have in 2 of these stories with the all-star teams in the district games or district title games, they're losing and then winning. It's because it's a double elimination tournament.
Yeah.
So they win all. I know you know.
Oh,
I just want to.
I was like, yeah, I know how this works, Justin.
Everyone listening knows that. Hey, they lost a title game. Shouldn't they be done? When you go undefeated to the title game, you can lose once because the other team has already lost once. It's double elimination.
Yeah.
So when they fight through the consolation bracket, they have to beat you twice.
Yeah.
So we have 2 of these teams that we're following who lost their initial title game, but then when you get to that second one, it's winner take all elimination, and both of our teams were triumphant in those games.
Some tournaments, obviously not these ones, have a stipulation, hey, once you get to the title game, records are out the window.
True.
And having played in those tournaments, I've never been to one of those title games, so it doesn't matter. But we have benefited from the other type, because remember, Justin, the one tournament I've ever won with you, maybe the only tournament you've ever won,
Yeah.
we lost our first title game, much to the umpire's chagrin.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were upset with us.
I think we benefited a lot from that, and we benefited even more from the fact that there was a no home run rule in the tournament.
Yeah.
Because there was one guy on that other team who just kept mashing home runs, and he couldn't stop mashing home runs.
Yeah, so he kept getting out.
Yeah.
And the funny part was there was one game where my brother was trying to hit home runs.
Yeah.
And didn't.
Giant field, though.
Yeah,
Giant field.
That's true.
So I want to talk a little bit more about what's going on in Little League, and I want to focus on the Elma Intermediates. I was trying to see their game hadn't quite gone final last time I looked. They're playing their 4th game of pool play. They had a really rough start today against the Douglas, Arizona team.
But they're 3-0 in pool play.
They ended up losing 7-3. So they finished 3-1 in pool play. This is a region tournament. So they won their district tournament and their state tournament just to get to this.
Yep.
This is the second year in a row that the Elma intermediate team. So this is a full new group of kids.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
I just assumed that it was a lot of the same kids because they're dang.
New full group of kids.
What is going on in Elma?
Yeah, and great things in Little League because they also had their 8 to 10 team won the district tournament.
You know, it'd be nice.
Yeah.
If Hoquiam was also in Little League so they could play with these kids
That would
instead
be
of
cool.
other random teams around the state. Sorry.
That would be cool. But that would be
I need
like
to get on
a
the board.
Seabrook level rant, and I don't think we have time for that.
At least. That'd be more
but
than
we've
a Seabrook
done it
level rant.
at other instances on this show. We have done the Hoquiam should be in Little League rant, and I agree with you, 100% agreement.
Sorry, I'll stop.
But Elma Little League right now, not only did they have the 8 to 10.
Why do you hate Al Ripken?
Did you say Al Ripken?
I did say it.
That's disrespectful.
Cal.
There you go.
Ripken.
That's disrespectful. Hal Ripken.
Hal Ripken.
Good old pal.
So not only did they have their 8 to 10-year-old district team win their district tournament, which is hard enough.
It's insane.
They had their intermediate team win state.
Yeah.
And then
I guess districts is not insane. Districts is hard.
Yeah.
State is really hard.
I've been following Little League for a long time, partly because my boys played in it for a long time. Before that, I was working as a sports correspondent for the Daily World. I've seen some incredible Little League teams go run through their district tournament, win the district tournament, get to state, and then be like, oh crap, everyone's better than us.
Yeah.
And some of the best teams that I've seen get to state and can't compete at the highest level with the top teams.
Yeah.
This intermediate team, last year's intermediate team was really good. I think they won one game.
In pool play,
In
right?
pool play.
Yeah. This team's 3-1 in pool play.
This team won their first 3 games in pool play.
They scored 24 runs in one of those games
Yeah.
against Nevada.
Yeah.
Against the whole state.
Yeah. So it turns out not only was this team really good compared to last year's team, like last year's team was awesome.
Yeah.
And we were celebrating that run like they won the World Series.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
it was amazing.
Yeah.
To win regional and then to win districts and then to win state is an incredible accomplishment on its own.
Absolutely.
So in my mind, when I found out these guys were going to the West Region tournament, I was like, I mean, they kind of already won. Like NorCal, SoCal, Hawaii teams are always amazing, right? So like the West Region team, the West Region champion is probably going to be one of those 3.
Yeah.
So that's why, like, when last year's team goes, they only win 1 game in pool play because guess what? When you get to the region, when teams have already won 2 tournaments to get where you are, everyone's really good.
Yeah.
This team came out and won 3 games in a row in pool play. It's incredible.
Yeah.
They did lose today. So they finished 3-1 in pool play, but this tournament will go. They started with 11 teams, and
They'll get their revenge on Douglas.
pool play.
Some guy named Douglas.
Some guy.
Douglas Heffernan.
Just some
That's a King
like,
of Queens reference for anyone who might
some
get it.
30-year-old dude just out there hitting nukes.
So they started with 11 teams. They narrow down to 8 now, and obviously Elma. I don't know which place they're going to be in. They were in second. They were number 2 technically because there were 2 3-0 teams. And the other team had the runs allowed. Whatever the tiebreaker was, they had it. So they're going to end up probably being, I would imagine, somewhere between the 2 and the 4 seed going into this, which means they'll go into a single elimination round with 8 teams and be the favorite because they have a better record than whoever they played against.
Right.
If they lose, they're out. If they win that first game, which is going to be on Tuesday, they not only do they guarantee 2 more games because you're in the semifinals and then they play for 3rd and 4th or 1st and 2nd, but it also guarantees a top 4 finish in the region. So Tuesday game is going to be absolutely massive for this Elma team that's already accomplished so much. I had a brief phone conversation with the manager of this team this morning. His name's Brad Olson, and I was just trying to get a feel for, like, what do you think? Who are the big impact players on this team? We actually had an athlete of the week from this team last week, Logan Rothmeyer,
Yep.
for his performance pitching in the state title game. And I was asking him, like, who are your big performers? What are the things that make this team special? And not only did he tell me that it's actually kind of hard to pinpoint, coaches say this a lot.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of hard to pinpoint who the big performers are because you get contributions from so many people. And at first, when he said that, I was like, oh, okay, I'll just go look it up for myself because I have the box scores from their games.
Yeah.
And then I looked at the box scores from the games, and I was like, he's so right. Like, they just have not only the guys who start in the top 9 spots, but like even the guys who come off the bench are contributing. Everybody's contributing to this team. Also, one thing that I think is notable is this is an intermediates team, which means 13-year-olds.
Okay.
5 of the players on this team are 12. So they have 5 players playing up from what would be Little League majors up to intermediate to play on this team.
Dang. What size field do they play on?
They play on it's the 50-70. So it's not the full size field, but it's not the Little League field. It's the in between, and they do like leadoffs and all the stuff that regular baseball does, but just
I really
not on
like
the full size field. Yeah.
I wish that would have been around when I was playing.
It's a good stepping stone.
That's cool because
what's going on next, yeah.
13-year-old Babe Ruth was a mess.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the pitchers, the majority of them, it felt like a slow pitch softball waiting to get it to you.
Right.
Yeah, and the bases felt like forever away. So
Yes. And the throw from third to first becomes so long.
Insane. Yeah, it's crazy.
You go from being able to play basically anybody at third base when you're in Little League to being only able to play guys with a great arm at third base.
Yep.
Pitchers only.
The other thing, as young as this team is, the one thing that Brad told me about this team that I thought was really important is that he said they actually come together and focus really well on their own. Like, obviously they have coaches that guide them and help them, and they've been successful, so they have good coaching. He said they actually, when they need it, they recognize they need it, and the players will all gather together and have these, like, quote-unquote players-only meetings where they don't really need to be told, hey, we need to talk about, there's just a level of maturity there where they can recognize on their own, hey, we need to talk about this, we need to get things together, and they also really feed off of each other, and that's helped them a lot with their success. And I do want to, one thing that's very important for me to do here, I want to read every name off the roster of this team, because there are so many contributors. And the reason that I have a lot of this information is because a friend of mine has a son on this team, so I was able to contact him, and he connected me with other people.
Oh, crap.
What?
Sorry. I was curious as to why there was such a delay in the Mariners game between the stats getting updated, and so I clicked on the stream, and Julio Rodriguez is getting helped off the field by trainers.
Oh, no.
Interesting. I thought you would like that because you hate Julio Rodriguez.
I don't... Shut up.
Daniel. Yeah, Daniel.
Oh.
I want to list the whole Elma Intermediate All-Stars lineup here.
Okay.
I'm going to start with Jet Vansickle, Connor Olson, Darwin Bortz, Fallon Verville, Gabe Heller, Graham Roop, Isaiah Clarkston, Logan Rothmeyer, Lucas Peterson, Mason Crawford, Parker Annenson, Tyler Toby, and Wyatt Branscombe. You guys,
that's awesome,
have accomplished something that in the history of since I've been covering local sports here, which 15 years or so, somewhere in that ballpark.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
I don't think we've had a local Little League team who has done what you guys have done. We've had a ton that win districts, probably a handful that win state. I don't think I've ever seen a team from our local area go to regionals and win 3 games.
No.
Like great teams like last year's Elma team, which won state, which in itself is a massive accomplishment, higher than almost anything I've seen locally.
Yeah.
Go there and face really great teams and still perform admirably, but you don't always come away with the win.
Exactly.
And this year's Elma Intermediate team, I think, is the best run I've seen since I've been covering local sports for a Little League team.
Yep.
So congratulations to you guys. That's awesome. I want to shout out a few of them in particular for some things that I noticed in the box score. Like I said, when I was talking to their manager and he said it's hard to pinpoint anybody, it's true. Because let's start with Connor Olson, which in the big game that they won versus Nevada when they won by like 20 runs, he went 3 for 4 with 3 runs and 5 RSBI.
Nice.
Which is a huge game. Isaiah Clarkston is one of 3 players who had a hit in each of the 3. I don't have the box score from today's game, but in each of the 3 games that they won, he had at least 1 hit. And 4 hits total, and 2 of them were triples.
Dang.
He also scored 4 runs and drove in 4 runs. And then Darwin Bortz is the only guy on the team who through those first 3 games had a hit and scored a run in each of those 3 games. He had 4 hits total and 3 runs scored. Then Parker Annenson also had 1 hit in each of those 3 games. And then Jet Van Sickle was one of only 2 players, along with Bortz, who scored at least 1 run in each of those 3 games. And he scored 4 runs total across those 3 games that they won. So I want to say congratulations to those kids. Also, like, honestly, just contributions everywhere.
Yeah.
Because Graham Roop scored 4 runs in the win over Nevada. And I'm sure that there's, like, I didn't even mention Logan Rothmeyer, who had 3 hits in the win over Nevada. Like, and he was our athlete of the week last week.
Yeah.
All these guys are contributing in one way or another. So, like, it's easy for me to dismiss a coach saying this is like a classic thing that coaches say. Well,
Absolutely.
it's hard to pinpoint one person because everybody contributes, and then you look
Everybody
at the
does
box
so well.
score, and there's actually a Jordan Spradlin
Yeah.
who's putting
Yeah.
up 2020 games.
Yeah, there's actually, a Kira Gardner.
And I know that just like any other baseball team, there are players who are kind of like the premier players and they're the best. But like looking up and down these box scores, it's so hard to be, looking at one guy.
I love that. That's awesome.
As an athlete of the week. So congratulations, Elma Intermediate All-Stars. If Chase Ferrier was watching the show and looking at the chat, he would be so impressed at how I've complimented an Elma team so much, considering I'm a Monty guy.
Appreciate that, Justin.
Scrawlings of a madman.
The scrawlings of a this is classic, like Daniel Hargrove, like scrawlings of a madman. It's just a piece of notebook paper with just random pen writing all over it. I did that because I thought
Scrawled by an apparent lobster.
I don't know. I don't actually often like make an effort to be like, oh, I need to contact this coach. Like we don't really do that often. But this accomplishment that this Elma Intermediate team had, I feel like it's important for people to understand how big it is. And they're not done yet. Like, they're going to play on Tuesday and have a chance to be one of the top. If they win that, they're going to be one of the top 4 teams in the entire Western region, which is totally bonkers. It's a crazy thought to even have.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that we highlight how massive of an accomplishment it is for these guys.
Yeah, it's nuts. I mean, you having kids that have gone through this.
Yeah.
I've followed Little League for a long time.
Yeah.
Having gone from being experience, gone to a state tournament, it's hard. And then at some point you're like, oh, well, we made it to state this year. Even getting to state is super hard. Because when I played, we made it my 10-year-old season. And then I'm not sure if we won a game after that.
Yeah.
Like, not only that season, but the next 2 years, 11 and 12-year-olds, we didn't make it back to state. I'm not sure if we made it out of the losers bracket. Yeah. Like, so it's hard to do. And the fact that they've gone to regionals and then played, it's so awesome. I loved hearing that update and everything you mentioned about that. It's so exciting. And now that I'm old, like when I was young, I was like, yeah, we win this tournament, we go to the next tournament. And now I'm thinking about this, and I'm like, how do the parents manage their vacation time?
Oh, most of them don't get to
how
go.
do they spend the money to get them there? Like, I'm so old, I'm worried about this stuff. What the
I'm
heck?
actually glad that you brought that up because, first of all, I would think that probably most of the parents, when they get to this point, don't get to go. Like, I know when I was coaching, I coached with each of my sons one time. I was on the coaching staff of an all-star team, And when my younger son, in his 10-year-old year, I think, we won the district tournament and made it to state. And I was like, I didn't expect to be here.
Right?
I don't know how to do this.
What do we
How
do?
do I tell my boss I'm not coming into work for a couple of days because we have an out-of-town baseball tournament? It all worked out fine for me. But if we had gotten past that to we have to go to another state, there's no way I would have been able to go.
Yeah.
But the community,
Not with
shout
that
out.
attitude.
Shout out to the community in Elma because, like, last year with the Intermediate All-Stars, they were presented with, like, hey, we need to raise, $30,000 in a week.
Yeah.
And they not only raised the money they needed, they raised an excess of money. Wow. So that this year's team, which had 4 days,
Yeah.
was able to, like, they did the fundraising and the community helped out and they got the whole thing paid for, which was like a $35,000 bill or whatever.
It's crazy.
But a lot of that was the stuff that was rollover from the previous year.
That's so awesome.
So the Elma community stepping up, that's so much money in a short period of time.
Yeah,
And we're
it's
talking
nuts.
about like car washes
Yeah.
and donations. Like
It's
it's
nuts.
not, there's not a lot of quid pro quo going on with what's happening. And they raised that money that they needed to fully fund the players and coaches being able to go to these tournaments.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And it's got to be so much harder now. Because
Yeah.
when I played, I don't think anybody had heard of a pitch count. So, like, our tournament started on Friday, ended on Sunday
Yeah.
with 10
4
teams.
games a day.
We were playing at least we were playing at least 2 games a day.
Yeah.
And now what? It's like
1 game a day.
1 game a day
And
tops.
Often you have
Does the
a day
tournament
off
start?
in between games.
What?
It depends on if you win or lose. Like in most of the district tournaments, once you lose, you have to play every day to fight through the consolation side of the bracket.
No, we were playing at least 2 games a day.
Yeah.
Like, we would play a game in the morning, go back to the hotel. All the coaches would be like, don't go to the swimming pool.
Right.
Half the numbskulls would go to the swimming pool. We'd go back to the field in the evening. Nobody would have any juice, and we'd lose again, and then we'd be done.
There are, like, I think with travel teams and stuff, like, there's a lot of tournaments where you might play more than 1 game a day. But in the Little League tournaments, I've never seen one where they play more than 1 game a day.
It was normal.
Yeah.
Well, also, it reminds me of, basketball tournaments, right?
Yeah.
All the AAU teams and travel ball teams, they're playing multiple games a day.
Yeah, at least
But all of a sudden, you get to the state high school basketball tournament, they're like, whoa!
Well,
We have to have a regional round because you can't play more than 1 game on a day.
That's the big time. No.
That's the big
That's the
time.
big time.
Referees, Daniel.
Yeah, sure.
That's true, actually. The referees are a problem. You have to have lots of them.
Or
Referees are a
umpires.
problem.
Umpires.
Name for the episode. Referees are a problem.
Daniel, Julio crashed into the wall
Yeah.
and went down holding his right
I
ankle.
thought the name of the
Yeah.
episode was going to be You're Not Yourself Today.
That could valid. Do we have any nominees
Yeah.
outside of that? Like, I don't know. How'd you do in your church league game this week?
I actually didn't do that great.
What?
Like
Are you
I
coaching the whole team?
Yeah,
It's
but
pretty
they
impressive.
actually
They got
that
smoked.
That part of it. So we did get smoked in the end. We lost 28-12.
not as bad as my team got smoked, but
what
I
is
wasn't
your
in
fun
charge.
differential?
The other
Church
team.
league is all about fun differential.
My
It was
team- my
super
team had
fun. Both of the teams are cool. Like there's
My
everybody
team
on the
was
team
playing
is fun.
against Burnett's though.
Oh, that's
So, fun differential automatic boost of like 10 when you're playing against Burnett's.
unless the differential is between which team is having fun, because the Burnett's
So,
are having more fun than
We
you
were
are.
playing on Pioneer 3.
Valid.
We were playing on Pioneer 3,
Yeah.
and the sun gets really bad in right field.
Yeah.
So in the beginning of the game, when the sun was up and causing trouble, I was like, I'm really good at hitting to right field. I'm just going to hit it to right field.
Yeah.
My first at bat, I hit a deep one to right field. They couldn't find it in the sun. I got a double out of it, even though I barely ran.
Attaboy.
My second at bat, I got under it a little bit, but I hit it really high up into right field and pretty deep. And the outfielder out there just made an amazing play and caught it. So then I was 1 for 2. And then on my last at bat, I'm
You
sure
got 3 at bats?
yeah. In the 7th inning, I came up second.
Okay.
And I hit a line drive that kind of came off the handle, so it wasn't a really hard one, but I hit it right at the third baseman. And I got
Loser.
out. So I went 1 for 3.
You went 1 for 3?
It was pretty bad.
That's real bad, dude.
And I only played 1 inning in the field also. But
Why did you only... That was your problem. You were
Yeah.
being too nice. You only played 1 inning in the field?
Something Daniel has
Bruh.
If I had looked out there and thought there's a move that I can make that's going to make us way better, I would have played in the field. But as recently evidenced,
So you're also a really bad coach.
well, I'm not a very good outfielder.
You could have pitched, and your pitcher could have played another spot. I know he could have.
Oh.
That's true, but our pitcher,
Justin
He's a good pitcher.
He did a
And I'm
great job.
Jimmy is a really good pitcher.
yeah.
But when
I'm
you're
gonna
looking
tell
at
Jimmy-
value,
I'm telling Jimmy you took a shot at him as a pitcher.
no. When you're looking at value,
I'm going to
it
tell
would have
Jimmy
been more valuable that
this-
you had pitched and he had played somewhere else.
this Friday. I'm going to tell Jimmy that you told me I should have yanked him as pitcher in our game, and that we would have won if I had.
Probably. Probably.
You know what though? He'll probably follow that. He'll probably be like, "Oh yeah, I totally could have."
Right?
I
He'll be like, wait, you can pitch?
I quote unquote coached this team,
Gotcha.
which means that I was the one responsible for writing all the names down for a lineup.
Yep.
And then every inning I told
you do
everyone where to
alphabetical?
play in the field. I built the top of
I'm going to have a panic attack.
I built the top of the lineup in a way. This is like general. Okay, if you don't like church league softball, skip 30 seconds. Okay.
30 seconds. I'm gonna go
General
for an hour on
strategy for building a quality church league softball lineup
Yep.
is go strong in the front. You know, have a good core. You probably want to take one of your one of your better hitting girls and put them into the top 5, probably in either the 2 or the 3 spot.
Yep.
And make sure that you have strong hitters in the top 5. And
Get them
then
when you can.
after that, you know, you kind of do a mix of like, you don't want to put like weak hitters all in a row. You kind of want to mix them up.
You can.
Yeah. And then I batted myself what would have been last, except that there were 3 people that showed up after me.
Gotcha.
So, but it was really fun.
Yeah.
I had a great time. We have a good group, and nobody gave me any trouble as I was shuffling people in and out of
Nice.
the field on the lineup. So.
Nice. Awesome.
It is helpful when everybody has good attitudes.
That is huge. That's the
Yeah.
best part.
I do have another.
I had a bit of a handicap. I pulled the 12-year-old and forgot my stuff. And Courtney and I showed up with like 10 minutes to spare, and I was all excited that we got there 10 minutes
the
early.
12-year-old move.
Yeah.
I thought you meant you pulled the 12-year-old out of the game. And
No,
I was
I-
like, where did we go?
I
What?
do that in a heartbeat. Get out of here, 12-year-old. No, I forgot my stuff. And so Courtney had to drive back and get the stuff. And the reason why we decided to have her go back and get it is because I was the only person on our team that could pitch, and we didn't know if she'd be back in time. So we were also the visitors. So I had to hit with my socks on. Because I was wearing slides, and I figured I'd be safer just hitting in stocking feet than in slides.
With all the rocks on that field, that is a bold choice.
True, but with all of the muscle pulls I get,
Yeah.
slipping out of some sandals did not
would
sound
have
good.
recommended that you hit left-handed with one hand in order to avoid any sort of twisting on your lower body. It'd just bat it and
That's
try it.
probably a really smart thing that will register with us later.
But
they,
anyway,
like,
I got a
import
base hit,
gravel
got 2 RBIs with
Nice.
socks on, and then my only other at bat hit a nuke. So,
Yeah, you did. That was a shot.
yeah.
You hit it really well.
But I only got 2 at bats because
Also-
my team got smoked.
I'm the reason why your team didn't score any runs after the first inning, because I showed up after the first inning and started keeping book, and then the only run you guys scored for the whole rest of the game was your homer.
Yeah, for sure.
I have one other name to throw in for Athlete of the Week. We got a message. This is a couple weeks old now, but right after the last episode we did on the 7th, I got a message about Matthew Flametis,
Okay.
who took first place at the Special Olympics state
There
in
we
track
go.
and field in the pentathlon. It's the 2nd year in a row he's done it.
Whoa.
He won all 5 of his events: shot put, long jump, high jump, 100 and 800 meters. So this is kind of like, it's kind of old news now, but I forgot to post it, and also it came in right after last week, so he couldn't be in the consideration for Athlete of the Week this week. And then we have 2 nominees from, these are also like, I couldn't get the coaches to, name one because everybody contributes, but
Right.
I did want to shout out Fallon Verville from Elma Intermediates. In the 2-1, it's just this is their 3rd win, and this is over a Colorado team that's really good. He pitched 5 2/3 innings in a 2-1 win, allowing only 3 hits, 1 earned run, and striking out 13 batters.
Dude.
At a West Regional.
Dude. He just went 5 2/3 with 13 Ks.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
Dude.
And then I also wanted to throw in Cooper Smith from the Elma 8 to 10-year-old Little League team because the game was, I believe the game was tied at 3 in the championship game, and he in the district tournament, and he hit a 2-run triple,
Nice.
which ended up being the game winner for that team. And I believe he also had another hit in that game. So I want to throw Cooper Smith in there from Elma as well. This is the
Love it.
all Elma show,
Love
basically,
it.
right now. It's what's
Love
happening.
it. Cooper, love the triple.
Yeah.
Triples are for fast kids.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah.
5 2/3 innings with 13 Ks. That means of the 17 outs he had, 13 of them were strikeouts.
And he only allowed 3 hits.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So is it are you sure it's Fallon?
Yeah.
Not Phelan?
I
don't know. I'm just.
When I spoke to the manager,
He said Fallon. Okay,
he
cool.
said Fallon, but I was just, yeah, he didn't, yeah. So
Sweet.
I'm 90% sure it's Fallon.
I'm digging Fallon for this. That is, and to do that at the regional against the best team in Colorado.
It makes everything so much better.
Yeah.
That you did this at a West regional.
Yeah.
And again, I've said this several times. Your All-Star team won a tournament against other All-Stars.
Yep.
And then another tournament against All-Stars who won a tournament against other All-Stars.
Yep.
And then you went to a tournament against All-Stars who had won a tournament against All-Stars who had all won a tournament against All-Stars.
We get it.
And then you won 3 games there.
Yeah.
And then you pitched a gem helping your team to a 2-1 win against All-Stars who had beaten other All-Stars.
Yes, we get it. They've beaten lots of All-Stars.
But they didn't just beat All-Stars.
I get it.
They beat All-Stars who
Justin.
have beaten All-Stars.
If you say All-Stars one more time.
Sorry.
So my vote's for Fallon.
I'm 100% with you.
Okay. Fallon,
Fallon Verville.
you are our Spivey Athlete of the Week
Congratulations.
for your performance against Colorado. Suck it, Rockies.
All-Stars.
Gosh dang it. You pitched 5 2/3 innings in a 2-1 win, gave up 1 earned run on 3 hits, 13 Ks. They should have brought the K cards with them. That was dope. Well done. Go get him again. We're waiting for you guys to now win 3 more in a row
Yeah.
and move on to Nationals. Is it Nationals next?
I think so.
Let's do it. Or the World Series. I don't know what they call it next, but hey, go get it. We're all behind you. Super excited. Well done, Fallon. Also, thank you to our sponsors, the Law Office of Jeffrey A. Domashevitz and Spivey Realty Group, the sponsor of the Spivey Athlete of the Week. We are so grateful for your guys' support as we support local athletes like Fallon and Cooper, who are baseball ballers in Elma.
Baseballers.
I would be okay
Baseballers,
with it.
Belma, ballers from Elma.
I would now be okay with it if we don't say Elma for the rest of the show.
Elma.
Dang it. Andrew?
I think it's time, Justin, to wrap up this front side of the show
Wow.
and then move into the next portion of the show where people can further not care about any of my opinions, just like Seabrook, my opinions about Seabrook. And that part of the show would be the regional sports part of the show. I realized that I should probably not just say time for commercial break,
You're
and
really-
now I'm overcompensating.
You're really not yourself today.
I'm King. Valid.
Let's take a commercial break.
Spivey Realty Group's goal is to make buying, selling, investing, and renting real estate in Grace Harbor simple. They believe in 100% transparency and unparalleled communication with local expertise, tech-enhanced, and top-notch service for their friends, neighbors, and community. Their goal is simple: get a group of strong-willed, hard-working people together who want to make a difference in Grace Harbor and to use real estate as the means of achieving that. Voted Grace Harbor's best real estate company. Find them on Facebook or visit graceharborrealestate.com. Spivey Realty Group, elevating small town real estate.
You think I should re-record that not in jail? Because remember, I was in jail that episode.
I think it sounds good. The only thing is, there's like one spot where you hear the cell door slam behind you.
Right. I could not get the cellmate to not leave at that point.
Yeah.
He heard me start, and he was like, dude, I'm not handling this.
But what are the chances of you, with pressure, doing it that well? Because you freaking nailed that read.
That was the first try, too.
Yeah.
Just throwing that out there. First try.
Was it one of those things where you were like, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So all the pressure was off?
Well, I mean, I definitely could have tried again. So yeah, it wasn't like I only had one shot.
Yeah, but,
Because
also,
because
it
while
was
I
an
only had
extra thing you were doing for us.
one phone call, you know, because I was in jail,
Right.
I could have started over and just had it been an extra long voicemail.
You're going to get fired.
You know?
Because of all the times we said that you were in jail.
Does anybody listen to the show?
Daniel, we need to talk.
Nobody in Lewis County listens to our show, so I think you're safe.
Hopefully.
I hope not. We built quite a precedent leading up to before I worked in Lewis County that I would think they wouldn't listen to our show.
The most
The
satisfying...
fact that Daniel was hired is proof
It's
that
true.
they didn't look into his background
Fair
of
point.
podcasting.
The most satisfying part of the Montesano 11-year-old Little League All-Star team... Oh, I said All-Star again, sorry.
Dang it.
Little League
Are
team
you?
that won the district tournament is that they opened with a win over Centralia, and then they beat Chehalis. And I was
Wow,
like, take
nice.
that, Lewis County. But then
It was better.
they beat Larch Mountain.
Yep.
So they beat Lewis County as a whole, and they beat Tenino. My worst enemies who don't really probably even know or care that I hate them.
They don't. You know what, though, Justin?
Tell me.
We are now in the second part of the show.
Yeah.
So it's time to get things going with the 2-minute drill.
Let's go, hurry up! Gotta hurry. Hey, 2-minute situation, 44 seconds, hand the ball around. Gonna do it right. 3 jet Buckeye on 1 3.
The 2-minute drill starts now.
Daniel, which of these Mariners is the bigger all-star snub? Caleb Raleigh or Andres Munoz?
Is it really Caleb? Sorry. No, I know we already
You
had that
check
discussion.
Google, it's Munoz.
Yeah. Well,
Was it
Munoz was invited as an alternate, so while he would have been the biggest snub, no, Raleigh was the biggest snub. Munoz got to slide in because Gilbert wasn't going to pitch, and then guess what? Munoz didn't pitch either, which was the bigger snub. You know, maybe no, it's Munoz because he got to go and he didn't get to freaking play.
No, it's actually
Wait,
Raleigh.
we didn't want him to play, did we? We wanted him to
We
rest.
didn't want him to play, but he was there, and they
Just
couldn't have
care
pitched
if
him an
he's
inning.
Selected.
We wanted them to want him to play.
I want you to want me. I don't know.
You're not
But
yourself
our shirts are going to say, spoiler alert, go to the wiffle ball tournament because our shirts are dope. Or are they dump? I don't know. But all-star snub, Cal Raleigh. Team USA narrowly avoided a shocking upset loss to South Sudan in an exhibition game, winning 101-100 on a LeBron James bucket with 8 seconds left. USA will play South Sudan again in a couple of weeks, this time in a real Olympic game. Justin, are the Olympic players going to fall asleep in this one as well?
I'm going to say they shouldn't be worried, and I don't think they're going to fall asleep. I think that this was hopefully, number one, this was hopefully the wake-up call they needed, that they need to take everyone seriously. And number two, South Sudan was like, they had a rough start for the first couple minutes, and then for the entire rest of the first half, they were absolutely shot out of a cannon. They were knocking down all their shots. They were literally shot out of a cannon.
Wow. I want to go to more games in South Sudan.
Does that make basketball good?
Andrew, wait. No, I was forgetting, where were the pirates from?
Garr.
Nonsense.
No, is it Somalia that had all the
Oh,
pirates?
yeah,
Yeah,
Somalia.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
not Sudan, my bad.
So I think that not only did the USA have an uncharacteristically out of chemistry and really bad shooting day, they ended up riding the veteran leadership of LeBron James, who realized at some point in the game, I can still notice when he does good things, even though I'm all the way out on him. He just realized at one point in the game, oh, I can just go to the basket and nobody can stop me. And he started doing that, and then they ended up winning. So I think that with the fallback of knowing if we do what we're supposed to do, we're going to beat these guys by 45, which is actually what the betting line was on this game. They were 45-point favorites. I think the USA is going to be just fine.
What I want to know is if you can talk about how a high school Duke commit is better than the entire Olympic team.
With the MLB trade deadline quickly approaching, ESPN's Jeff Passan said on the Brock and Salk show on Friday that the bat which makes the most sense for the Mariners to pursue is Tampa Bay third baseman Isaac Paredes.
Well done putting the phonetical spelling there.
Daniel, is that good? Is that a good fit in your eyes?
It is, and it isn't. He is hot right now, and he yanks dingers. He is a guy who pulls everything, and he hits homers. Does that fit best for anybody playing in Safeco Field? Probably not, but it is the summer, so he'd probably have success. The guy I want the...
Isn't it?
All of the Tampa Bay players have at least next year in control as well.
Okay.
So they are guys who would fit that mold for the Mariners as well. They don't like rentals. They like people with at least another year afterwards. I want their first baseman, Yanier Diaz? Might be saying his first name wrong. Anyway, he is a guy who has much more contact capabilities to go along with his power. That's who I want. But also, I wouldn't mind Randy Arozarena because I think they have more holes in the outfield than they do at third base. So if they got Isaac Paredes, they'd have to move Josh Rojas. And now that Polanco is kind of hitting a little bit more like who they thought he was going to be, that would create issues. Diaz would fill a hole at first and or DH, with both of those players are being awful right now. And Arozarena would go to the outfield, and I think that he's a former All-Star who could turn it on for a little bit as well. I'd be excited if they got any of the three of those guys. I'm not holding my breath for anything because I'm depressed.
I want Arozarena. He's on my fantasy team.
The Ners used their first-round pick. Oh, crap.
You said it! The Ners! I got you! You're really not yourself today.
Not only did he say it, he leaned into it. Nurse!
You know what? Just cut the music, end the question. We're going to move on because I feel like...
I just want to say, we need to reevaluate the 2-minute drill in general because we've completely lost our way on this. The 2-minute drill. The 2-minute drill is supposed to be quick questions and answers.
You know, when
we turned it into the equivalent of an 8-minute offense.
We actually initially...
You guys are not handing the ball to the ref.
When we started this segment, we said we were going to go, when 2 minutes is up, Andrew hits the buzzer. Regardless of where we are in our questions. But I don't want to lose focus on the fact that Daniel just said the Ners for the Mariners, which is something that Andrew and I have been trying to get him to say for months. He's always refused and also acted like he's really superior to us because he doesn't want to say the Ners. Now he not only said it, he said it emphatically.
Daniel absolutely got Ron Burgundied.
Yeah. Who typed a question mark in the teleprompter?
So... I've had multiple Ron Burgundy moments in this show.
You're not yourself today.
That was by far the worst.
Yeah.
And I am this close to just going and sitting in my car for the rest of the episode. I'm so upset. I'm so upset.
You have to wait for me, though, because you're my ride home.
Well, I said I'd just go sit there.
Okay.
So, Justin, was the first round pick of an ambidextrous pitcher from Mississippi State University that I'm not going to try to say the name of?
Anybody want to take a stab at how to say the name?
Sinte?
I heard it pronounced...
Sijinte?
I heard it pronounced
Sinjay?
as Jinte.
Jinte?
But that was just in one video, and I have no idea if it's actually right. So it would be like Gerangelo Jinte.
Okay. That sounds good to me.
Obviously, the correct pick would have been Vance Honeycutt.
So he's amphibious, though.
Yeah, he's amphibious. He's an amphibious pitcher.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's really helpful for rain games.
Yeah.
The This will be so useful in the Pacific Northwest. I totally understand this pick now.
But if he's cold-blooded, will he have to like sit in the sun to be able to play in the shade? Or
They have heaters in the dugout.
okay, all right, cool, good to know.
Yeah.
Obviously,
He'll have a heat rock.
the correct pick would have been Vance Honeycutt, who became the most polarizing player in the entire draft.
This whole question was just so that Justin could talk about.
I don't know what you mean.
100%.
I ultimately am happy because Vance Honeycutt went number 22 to the Orioles, and I'm an Orioles
Your
fan
Orioles.
I can
yes.
only imagine that the reason why the Astros broadcast is showing a highlight of James Hader is because the Mariners have lost the lead. Yeah, oh no, wait. Why were they showing that highlight? Gosh, the Astros broadcast is terrible.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to hijack the show. I thought that I was going to show how
I was talking about Vance Honeycutt.
I thought that the Mariners have lost
Who's
the lead,
who's
but they're actually
hijacking
up
what
6-3. But the Astros broadcast is the absolute worst. So for no apparent reason, in this bottom of the 7th inning, down 6-3, they were showing a highlight reel of their closer and talking about how he'd converted a bunch of saves. Dude, they are right up there next to the Yankees as the worst broadcast
Are the
by
Yankees
far.
broadcasts terrible, or are they? Do we just hate them because they're the Yankees?
No, it's bad.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's just surprising. I just would expect
The amount
New York
of
to have talented people.
No, their production value is really good. The garbage that comes out of their mouths and how they talk
Right,
about
so
the game
actual
is terrible.
Commentators are not talented.
Okay, so you're just getting down to the
I was
commentators.
talking about the commentators because the Astros, they're bad. Like, they say stuff that doesn't make sense
Yeah. But
or is straight up not true.
yes, so do the Yankees.
Okay,
what
that's
are you
what I was
saying?
asking you if the Yankees were really that bad. When I look at it, I think the Astros being terrible, it doesn't surprise me that much. It's some team from Texas. The Yankees, I would expect there to be a lot more pressure to be have talented media people.
Now they have their own network.
So I would expect the Yankees to be annoying to us because they're the Yankees
Right.
people, but not necessarily just bad. The Astros people are really bad.
Well, they both. Okay, so the Astros, I think, talent-wise, are probably worse, but also both of them have the annoying capability
We're very annoying.
of going, "What a terrible pitch," and then when it's something that happens the exact same, but for them goes, "That's a strike on the inside corner," and you're like, "You're kidding, right?" Whereas I think I've watched probably 15 other teams' broadcasts, and the majority of them are exactly like the Mariners, where they're like, "Whoa, got away with it that way,"
It's like, oh, he'll take that one.
Exactly,
Like,
or
be
that one.
happy about it,
Yeah,
but acknowledge it.
exactly. Whereas the Astros and the Yankees are like, "What a crappy call!" Next half inning, same pitch on the inside corner, and you're like, "You've got to be kidding me." Anyway, sorry. Didn't want to throw off your Vance Honeycutt.
No, you did.
Goosh
You
in
definitely
there.
did.
I was just playing Toy Blast on my phone.
Toy Blast.
Yeah, it's a good game.
Doubtful.
Is that as good as Quasi Cupcakes?
Quasi Cupcakes.
You watch Great News?
What?
Quasi Cupcakes?
No, that's Brooklyn
That's
Nine-Nine.
Oh,
Nine-Nine.
Brooklyn Nine.
Great News, also a great show, though.
Yeah, I wish they had made more of it.
Right?
They canceled it too soon.
So good.
Yeah.
Um,
So what I was saying is, obviously the right pick was Vance Honeycutt because he was.
well, the fact that he went to the Orioles freaks me out.
That
I
does
like
suggest that it was the right pick.
I
will
like it.
say.
but like when I have never been so locked in
I'm not gonna
to
lie,
an
I was
MLB
kind
draft.
of rooting
Daniel,
for him
you
to
could
get-
probably attest to this. I was texting you guys about the MLB draft.
I loved
I've
it.
never done that before.
Yeah.
But it's because the Mariners picked at 15, and I had seen my favorite player from college
Did we
baseball,
not get any texts about
Ackley.
Ackley?
No, I wasn't really
I
paying
think
that
I was
close.
following it closer than
Did
Justin
we
was.
have texts at that point? That may have been before texting.
I was only like really casually following
Okay.
college baseball at that
Okay.
point. But Vance Honeycutt, not only the single season home run record for North Carolina, which is my favorite team, but also the career home run record for North Carolina. He also steals a buttload of bases and he bats for average. And also, by the way, he is the 2-time reigning Gold Glover in college baseball in center field, and he has a plus arm. So, in my mind, I was mostly going, why isn't he in the conversation with Travis Bazzana from Oregon State as like one of the top 2 or 3 picks in the entire draft? Travis Bazzana, by the way, did go number 1 overall to the Guardians.
Cool.
Yeah. Andrew, our first mention of Dustin Ackley in our old Facebook Messenger group was in 2018, so not during the draft.
Wow, that's really late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, is what you have to do. And you have to how Jerry is better at picking them, not smoke Montero.
You have to hope Jerry is better at picking them?
No, you have
you're
to.
saying?
No, you have to.
And, yeah, not smoke Montero, Ackley, or Holtzen.
Okay.
That was the message from
you
2018.
mentioned Holtzen, that's just painful.
And then my next message was, WTF, the Saints lost. And then Justin said, yeah, the Cowboys pressured Breeze hard, and he responded poorly. Dude, 2018 was a wild time, man.
This is when we used to care about other sports and outside of our own.
The next
region.
message that mentioned Dustin Ackley was in 2020.
Why are you doing this to me? I don't know. This hurts so hard.
And Andrew said, nope, this is a new era, Justin. The Mariners have never, ever been in this position before. And then he started posting GIFs of people plugging their ears. And then Justin then said, Ackley, Reed, Zanino, Holtzen. And I said, stop, Kyle Lewis. And then Justin said, Saunders. And then I posted a GIF of somebody crying and eating ice cream. And then Andrew said, none of them smelled us later. Oh, gosh, this is a Kelnick discussion. And then Justin said, Adam Jones, Bloomquist. And then I said, Bloomquist is a big reach there, bud.
And that's true. By the way, also...
Wow.
Because clearly he was scraping the bottom of the barrel at that point.
That was very painful what you just did.
That was harsh.
But you're not yourself today, so I'm going to let it slide.
My stomach hurts a little bit.
Ackley... very painful memory from my past.
Yes.
You would think that as a Tar Heel fan, Seager would redeem it. But he didn't. And Ackley is still painful. And maybe in the end it will be a good thing for me that Honeycutt didn't get drafted by the Mariners, because literally the only hole in his game, like literally the one thing that scared teams off from him, is his strikeout rate. He strikes out a lot. He also hits a buttload of dingers. He's a phenomenally explosive athlete and a great fielder who strikes out a lot. And I told you guys,
well,
when I'm being introspective
that doesn't seem
here,
to be a problem.
that was what I said.
Perspective.
That's what I said. But when I'm being introspective, I told you guys at one point, I think, if Vance Honeycutt ends up being a bad pro,
Yeah.
I will never watch baseball again, because it will devastate me so badly that I won't be able to handle it.
So what am I rooting for now?
So if he went to the Mariners and didn't make it,
so
I would not be
glad
okay.
that he went to the Orioles so that he can be successful, so that Justin, you can continue to enjoy baseball.
You're a good friend, Andrew. Unlike Uncle Al, he's a bad friend.
I love that he's Uncle Al to all of us.
Why? How did what?
Even
why
he's Uncle Al.
at him?
Even Pastor Kai called him Uncle Al from the pulpit.
He's
today.
Uncle Al
That's
to me
amazing.
because he was Uncle Al when we all played for CCM together
Yeah.
in softball.
Yeah.
Although, also, Pastor Kai might have a new nickname. My nephew accidentally called him Castor Pie, and I think that is just awesome. Castor Pie.
Castor Pie.
Can we talk about Uncle Al for a second?
Sure.
I
I now know why Uncle Al used to run like he did in church league softball games.
Why?
Because I now run like that.
Oh. Uncle Al, who is helping coach your church league softball team.
Yep.
But not playing anymore, even though he was a pretty good pitcher in his day.
Jordan Alvarez can eat a giant bag. He just hit for the cycle.
I hate that guy.
He literally had a triple that hurt Julio Rodriguez. He has a home run. He had a single in his first at bat, and he just hit a double down the line. That guy can eat a giant bag, and if you need me to say what that bag is full
we're
of,
good. You've been a loose cannon enough today.
From Dick's.
there you go. Thank you, Andrew. I hate him so much, and he has a cycle against the freaking Mariners.
So good.
Yes, stop it. Don't say anything nice about him. Stop it.
I will say
Stop
that
it!
I hate that he plays for the Astros because if he played anywhere else, he would be so much fun to watch play.
It's appropriate that you guys are talking about someone we hate when I just said let's talk about Uncle Al. Because have you ever... This is something I was legitimately thinking about earlier today. No, I need you guys to hear me out on this. Because you guys go even further back with Uncle Al than I do.
Oh, yeah. Andrew goes even further back than I do.
So, here's the deal, Al Jones.
Okay, Al Jones.
Have you ever met anyone in your life who...
Dad of the legendary fast pitch Monty State champion, Kaylee Jones.
Yeah, and current phenomenal worship leader.
True.
At Foursquare Church.
Yep.
Have you ever met anyone in your life who universally, in any kind of public
Did
scenario...
Santos just hurt himself too?
You
What
are
the heck
so
just happened? I
easily
am sorry.
distracted.
What the crap just happened? Andrew?
That's an out.
Yeah, that's an out, but why is Santos laying on his back?
The pitch. He looks okay.
Dude, that guy's bizarre.
I think he must have just.
Is he just being bizarre?
He must have just really messed up the pitch.
Have you guys ever
No,
met...
the trainers out there. What the heck?
Have you guys
Yeah,
ever,
they're out there because he was laying down.
Have you guys ever met anyone in your life that universally, in every public scenario,
Okay.
including sometimes pastors from the pulpit,
Yes.
just insult this man?
No.
But also,
That's
he
true.
is one of the most universally loved people that I have ever met in my life.
That's
And he
That
and
is
the
a
reason
dang
why
accurate. That's
the
accurate.
reason why he can be so insulted in every scenario is because everyone knows, everyone loves Al. We can say whatever we want because no one's ever going to believe it. Al's the best.
That's a good point.
Also, I watched
Valid.
I watched Kelsey
Yeah.
literally
Yeah.
pluck a stray hair from Al's face on Friday. It looked like he had shaved and there was a long hair from his mustache that didn't go. And I talked to Al early and I noticed it, but I didn't feel like I'm going to say anything. Kelsey went up to him and was like, "This is really bothering me. Can I?" And Al was like, "What? What are you doing?" And then she just pulled the hair from his face. It was really amazing. Good job by Kelsey. And also, I just want to shout out Al
That's a
because
good friend.
I realized that Al, being the person that he is, can only be so universally hated because he's so universally loved.
Valid.
Universally,
Valid point.
I would say universally disrespected rather than.
Oh,
hated.
that's good.
Yeah.
Disrespected is better. Disrespected
Absolutely.
is better.
It's now time for my least favorite part of the show.
Woohoo, I'm excited for this one.
Oh, I don't like it.
Serving
I am
questions
so-
up on a silver platter where the points are made up and the rules don't matter. Time for Stump Daniel.
I'm not feeling good about that. A, because you just said you were super excited, and B, because on the show sheet it says max of 54, and that just screams complication.
We're gonna see how many push-ups you
That's
can
what
do.
this is
No, just kidding.
about, Daniel. This is
not
this is
50.
what it's
Well, how
about.
much time do I have?
In a row. What do you mean? How much time do I have?
I can do maybe 20.
Okay.
Hey,
In a
I
row.
am.
Does it count as in a row if he's resting with his arms locked?
Well, is he laying on the ground? Because then in a row is over.
I'm just gonna say I am only 2 days into my commute workout routine,
Okay.
and so
What does
Oh, your
that mean?
commute workout routine is you're driving the speed limit,
Kegel
so you're
exercises?
doing other things to keep you.
Kegel exercises?
100%. No, I I mean, I need to add that to it. I need to find more workouts I can do in the car because
Sphincter.
Keep that prostate healthy.
when you
buddy.
put a dumbbell in your car, it is amazing how
Hey, I
quickly
rode
you realize.
with you here. Was that putting a dumbbell in your car?
Yeah, but one that is much too heavy for me to lift.
He had 2 dumbbells in the car.
You don't think you could deadlift me?
Emphasis on the dead. I don't know what's going on.
Well,
I'm not myself today.
I'm going to take a page out of Joe Biden's book, and when I want to redirect, I'll say, anyway.
Anyway,
Anyway,
Anyway.
we've got a 6 handicap.
You got.
I mean, an 8 handicap.
An 8 handicap. I've seen you swing. Daniel.
Whoa, I didn't know you went to those kind of parties. Sorry.
Your mama was there. Daniel.
The debate we needed.
If anyone was watching, they have left the chat.
Oh, I wish Francis and Daniel were still there because now we're getting to the good part.
Daniel.
Okay. That's
Stump,
me.
Stump Daniel
I'm Stumpy.
is brought to you by the law office of Jeffrey A. Domashevitz.
That is
and
correct.
he would approve of this message.
Would he? You sure?
The message I'm about to give.
Okay.
Which is that you're about to get stomped.
Oh, shoot.
Daniel, have you ever thought about All-Star games?
Have you ever thought about All-Star games?
Have you ever thought about All-Star games?
All-Star games.
You have?
Yes.
Okay.
I have thought about them once.
Have you ever thought about who has the most All-Star games in each sport?
Oh, crap. No. Who thinks about that nonsense?
Here's the game today.
I don't like this game.
You're going to give me one baseball player, one basketball player, and one football player. And there's more
about
rules,
hockey?
so don't shout them out. Hockey is not a sport in this category.
Sir.
In this
Sir!
Sorry. Let me rephrase. Hockey is not in this conversation.
Okay.
You're
I didn't
adoring
think-
hockey.
I didn't think it would be fair.
I appreciate that.
Okay. There's a couple of rules here. You're going to give me one from each of those 3 major sports.
Okay.
And I'm going to add up the total of how many All-Star appearances they have. Football, it's Pro Bowl, not All-Pro. You're going to tell me how many All-Pro or how many All-Star appearances they have. Couple of little rules here. In round 1, you're going to pick which one you want to give me, and then I'm going to cross off the top player from the other 2. So you won't have that opportunity to get those 2 top players from the other 2. And then after the second pick, I'm going to cross off the second player from the third
you're
list.
assuming that I'm only going to get one right. You said cross off the other 2.
Well,
What if I get all 3 of them right?
you can't get all 3 of them right. Because after you pick the first one, I'm going to cross off the top player off the other 2. You only get to pick one at a time.
Oh, that's not nice.
And
This is confusing.
this is what I do.
Prime Justin Domashevitz
Confusing
here.
This is
scoring.
perfect.
Okay, so one at a time. You're going to tell me, here's the sport I want to pick first. And you're going to give me one player from it. I'm going to write down the amount of All-Star appearances they have, and I'm going to cross off the top player from the other 2 lists.
So Daniel is trying to pick the top, then the second overall, then the third overall. That's what
Correct.
he's trying to do.
Correct.
Okay.
Here is the other rule, because there needs to be a more convoluted scoring system here.
That makes sense.
Which is why I put max 54, because I was trying to figure out what's the way for me to remember what the maximum score is. It's 54. Here's the other thing.
He was trying to figure out a way to remember, and then he was like, oh, writing it down might be a good way.
No, in the show sheet. Yeah. Daniel, because I have this Scrawlings of a Madman, but I was afraid I was going to forget it, so I would have written it on here, but then I wouldn't have had it if I forgot this. The other rule is you can pick one of these 3 sports, which I will tell you in which year the All-Star Game was instituted. Because some of these sports had an All-Star Game before some of the greatest players played.
Oh.
And it might change the math. So let's start with that. Daniel, which year, or which sport would you like to know the year in which the All-Star Game was first played?
I'm going to go with basketball.
In basketball,
Hey.
the All-Star Game
Oh, that's a good.
That was just for
Started-
basketball.
That's on
in-
brand for you.
Yeah.
1951.
Okay.
So, Daniel, which sport would you like to start with? Which one do you want to pick first?
I'm going to say baseball.
Okay.
Staying on brand.
Yep. And who is
Staying
your
wheelhouse.
pick for who has the most All-Star Game appearances
So
of all time.
Okay, so I
this
have
is
to.
a tough one, Justin.
I'm going to give you a clarification too, because way back in the day when the All-Star Game was first started, they used to have multiple All-Star Games in a season.
What the?
So
what?
this is
That can't count.
seasons with an All-Star appearance. So if they had 2, I'm only counting 1.
Well, yeah, you shouldn't even start it until there is only one All-Star game.
Okay, well I don't know how to do that. So I'm gonna go with what
They
Baseball
had
Reference
more
has.
than one All-Star game?
Yeah, in way back in the day, they started with 2 All-Star games.
Gosh dang it! I wish I would have known that
actually makes
beforehand.
sense.
This
But
is
I'm not-
so
but I'm
dumb.
not giving you
Baseball
2.
season is so long.
I'm not giving you 2.
It
So
kind of
if,
makes sense to divide it into
I-
3
if there was a season that somebody
I
made 2
know-
All-Star games, you still only get 1.
I
for that.
know, but it still changes it because what if that expands the field?
Does it? Because there were less teams. It does probably expand the field a little bit, but there were also less teams back then.
I don't. It doesn't change my. It doesn't. I'm not gonna get upset.
Okay,
I was being old Daniel.
don't be old Daniel. OD. Oh, that's not a good.
So it's between 2 different guys.
Okay.
I don't think either of them. Like, there's probably somebody who has more All-Star games,
Okay.
but I know they had a lot.
Yeah.
It's between Hank Aaron and Barry Bonds.
Okay.
They both had a butt ton of All-Star appearances.
Okay.
So while there is somebody who probably had more, I think that a valid bet would be either one of those guys, because those are 1 and 2 on the home run leader list. So they probably went to All-Star games a bunch because you have to hit a crap ton of home runs for a butt ton of years.
Sometimes hitting a ton of home runs doesn't even help, Carol.
I'm going to go with a safe bet because he's the leader and there was less racism by the time he was playing.
Okay.
But there was more steroidism.
Okay.
But I'm still going to say Barry Bonds.
That was a terrible choice.
Should I have gone Hank Aaron?
Hank Aaron is the all-time leader with
Mother-
21 seasons with an All-Star appearance.
So close.
I also thought that with the recent passing of Willie Mays, that you might have remembered that a talking point was that he made 20 All-Star games. Barry Bonds, 14. So a lot. Hank Aaron, 21.
You know what? Sean O'Neal influenced my decision.
Really?
And I'm going to say it's his fault.
Because he says Barry Bonds is the best baseball player he's ever seen.
And
You know
now he
what?
can shove his head up his own butt.
When I think about it from the perspective that Barry Bonds played for a super long time, and he also was really good into his late 30s, now I'm taking back the fact that I said that was a terrible choice. I take it back.
It wasn't a terrible choice, but it was terrible that I didn't go with my first gut, which was Hank Aaron.
Would you like me to list all the guys who have more than Barry Bonds?
Oh, do I have to? Well,
Ozzie Smith,
can't-
Tony
wait,
Gwynn,
hold up.
You can't pick another baseball player.
I can't pick another baseball player. is
No,
what you're
one
saying.
for each sport.
That was also not stipulated in
I
the
said one from
I-
each sport
I
in the
think
very
I
beginning.
think it was, but you probably just...
It was so convoluted. I thought I was just trying to pick 3 guys that I thought had the highest amount of All-Star games.
That's the gambit. It's convoluted and you get confused.
Okay, so who are the other All-Star players?
The point of
Here-
this is to stump Daniel.
Here are the ones who had more than Barry Bonds. Ozzie Smith, Tony Gwynn, Brooks Robinson, Al Kaline, Yogi Berra, Mickey Mantle, Pete Rose, Ted Williams, Carl Yastrzemski, Rod Carew, Cal Ripken Jr., Stan Musial, Willie Mays, and Hank Aaron.
I've heard of 7 of those players.
No.
I recognize 7 names.
Wait, I'm more impressed with
I
Andrew that
recognize
he's
the
recon-
100% of the names.
I'm excited Andrew recognized some of those names.
Which ones did you not recognize? Hold on,
I
wait.
recognize 7.
New game. Andrew, did you know Ozzie Smith?
Nope.
Tony Gwynn?
Yes.
Brooks Robinson?
Nope.
Al Kaline?
Nope.
Yogi Berra?
Kaline's
Yes.
the weird one there.
Mickey Mantle?
Yes.
Pete Rose?
Yes.
Ted Williams?
No.
Carl Yastrzemski?
You didn't know Ted Williams?
Did you know Carl Yastrzemski?
No.
Did you know Rod Carew?
No.
Okay.
Did you know Cal Ripken Jr.?
Yes. Obvious.
Stan-
Al Ripken.
Stan Musial?
No.
Yeah.
Willie Mays?
Yes.
Hank Aaron?
Yes.
I'm
Was
stressed
that
out.
7?
right now.
The only one I'm surprised about is Ted Williams, to be honest, Justin. The only one I'm surprised he didn't know was Ted Williams. Not that I'm not
I should
as
feel
freaked
bad.
out as you are.
I should feel worse.
I'm not freaked out. I'm angry.
Well, that's just because you're not a Gentile.
All right, Daniel. Which sport do you want to go to next, knowing that I am crossing off the top player from the
Top
list?
one. Okay, let's do... I'm going to move on to basketball.
Okay, basketball, the top player on the list is LeBron James with 20.
And he crossed
Oh, you
it off.
tell me.
Yeah,
'Cause he
I'm going to
crossed it
tell you
off.
who I'm telling
That's
who it
helpful to
is,
you,
and I'm
Daniel.
crossing it off.
That's nice.
So now you tell me who your pick is.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar,
Final answer.
also known as... Crap, I forgot his name.
It's Lou Alcindor.
Thank you.
You had it.
I
You
was-
wanted it so bad.
Yeah, I did. I
Like you
wanted to
wanted
sound
to
cool.
be able to say what it was.
Yep.
AKA.
Okay, Lou Alcindor.
You know what, Daniel? You maximized your points here. 19 All-Star appearances for Lou Alcindor / Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. LeBron James had 20. Right behind is Kobe Bryant with 18. And then Julius Erving with 16. There actually was a
That they
huge...
just hate.
There's a pretty big drop-off to the next guys. So...
Wow. Yeah. Why didn't Michael Jordan have more All-Star appearances?
As a
Well,
non-basketball
'cause
fan,
didn't he only take
my
1
thought
year off?
was, how
He
is Michael
took
Jordan in the not
2 years
not
off.
in the top
Wait,
two?
Michael Jordan took 2 years off?
Yeah, that's why the Houston Rockets won 2 titles in the middle of Jordan's 6.
Well, also, how many years were in between his Bulls and Wizards stint?
Yeah, because he retired again. They won 2 titles after he came back, and then he retired again.
Yeah. So how
And
many
I think
years
2
was-
years between
Okay.
when he came back.
So it was two-year breaks?
Yeah, Michael Jordan at 14.
So did he just not have as long of a career then?
Yes. He had less years played, but he played till he was 40.
Okay.
Yeah. But he had 4 random years in there where
Yeah.
he didn't play.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's very weird.
But Daniel, you did great in that round
Love
after totally failing at baseball.
Okay, so I have a total... Hey. So right now I have a total
Meredith's
of
won.
33.
33 years. Okay.
Daniel, I am crossing off from the top of this list in NFL Pro Bowls. Tom Brady at 15 and Tony Gonzalez at 14. But I will say there are 3 other guys tied at
Gonzalez
14.
surprises me.
There are 3 other guys at what?
At 14. So you have more opportunities to still get 14 points, even though you basically failed by missing the baseball one so badly.
I was so close, too. I was so close.
Yeah.
That would have been embarrassing for Justin.
If you had picked Hank Aaron, you would actually have maximum points right now.
I know. It's really frustrating. It's more frustrating because I was thinking of him first, and then I freaking Sean O'Neill'd it. You know what? I used to be bummed out that I wasn't playing on your guys' wiffle team. Now I'm freaking happy about it.
You can tell him on August 3rd at the Young Life Wiffle Ball Tournament. By the way,
Wait,
if anyone
weren't you
wants
happy to not play? You wanted to play with the kids, I thought.
I'm mixed.
Mixed.
I was really bummed to not play with the old guard because I was kind of excited about it. Like, this is a fun group of guys.
Okay.
But I'm also, my pride has been, my ego has been
You know
boosted
what,
a little bit.
Daniel? Either
As
way,
long as
don't
you
worry
win.
because the names of the team are Team 1 and Team A. So we don't have a team that's planned to be better than the other.
That's good branding there,
Thank
Chief.
you. I
Well
did
done.
What happened to?
that. There was so many good suggestions in our chat.
Oh, yeah.
The youngs and the olds, the young guns and the old farts.
The colonoscopies and the sports physicals.
Yeah, there was a lot of good ones. And I decided to go with Team 1 and Team A.
Who's Team 1 and who's Team A?
I don't remember. I think that you with the young guys is Team A.
Okay.
We'll figure it out.
I'm going to go with Peyton Manning. Safe cheese.
Daniel, 14. So you maximized your football points, even though my pen doesn't work anymore for some reason. You maximized your football points, You maximized your basketball points. You failed miserably at baseball.
You're a jerk.
Which makes sense because baseball's not really. Oh wait.
Ultimately, with a max of 54, you have 47, which, based on the predetermined scoring zones that I didn't say out loud, puts you in the Coug zone. So you
Congratulations, Daniel. Good job.
Even though you failed at baseball, I'm just gonna. That's actually the new.
You still achieved the highest possible zone.
The new name of this episode is Daniel failed at baseball. You achieved the second highest zone.
The highest zone
for Andrew,
possible.
For Andrew, it's the highest zone because go Cougs. But for you, the Beaver zone would have been the best of all zones. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna go
love
sit
the
in my
Beaver
car.
This concludes Stump Daniel, which is brought to you by the law office of Jeffrey A. Domashevitz. I was really hoping you'd say Babe Ruth, but I knew once you learned when the MLB All-Star Game was instituted.
I didn't. I asked when the NBA game
Oh, you
All-Star
didn't
game was
know.
instituted.
Okay, my bad.
I already knew that there wasn't an All-Star game when Babe Ruth started.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Oh. Do you know how many All-Star
Baseball
games?
like
Daniel knows
jam.
about baseball.
Does he?
Okay?
I got tricked by Sean freaking O'Neal.
He failed pretty miserably at the baseball portion of this. Actually, you achieved literal maximum points in basketball and football, and the only thing that prevented you from Beaver Zone was that you failed by 7 points at baseball.
Remember who my other option was?
Hank Aaron?
I said his name out loud.
You did. And then you chose something different.
What a... I let...
You know what?
You know what it was, Justin?
Yeah.
I let my perceived notions about racism in baseball affect my answer.
Does it bother you that...
Is Hank Aaron black?
Time for a commercial break.
I didn't know that.
Commercial break.
They're making me go
break.
to commercial break.
Commercial break.
Do you have a legal situation and need someone on your side? Let the law office of Jeffrey A. Domashevitz be your advocate. If you've been the victim of medical malpractice, suffered a personal injury, or need representation with real estate law, small business law, or estate planning, let Jeff Domashevitz put his 29 years of experience to work for you. Call Jeff Domashevitz today at 360-612-3991 or visit domashevitzlaw.com. That's DAMASIEWICZLAW.com.
I don't blame Andrew. Is it still going? I blame myself.
I want to be completely clear here. I thought that Hank Aaron was a pitcher. I am not proud of that. After Googling his name,
No!
I am not proud of that.
He was the all-time home runs leader.
I'm not proud of that. I clearly had no idea who Hank Aaron was.
Daniel, did you and I both throw all of our equipment on the table
Yes.
and walk out of the room?
Immediately. I thought he was a pitcher.
He wasn't even a good pitcher.
I don't know.
Oh, that's good. That's good stuff.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
Thank you to our sponsors. We hope that you are still our sponsors. After Andrew just said what he said.
What I was about to ask you, which Andrew took a lot of the heat off of you there, was how does it feel to know that when I wrote Max 54 in the show sheet, that had you said Hank Aaron, you would have been at 54.
Little
You would have
frustrating.
gotten actually the maximum amount of points. completely overshadowed by the fact that Andrew has no idea who Hank Aaron, former all-time home runs leader, is.
Yeah.
Did you know he batted cross-handed?
You know, I've always wondered if that's actually real. I know that he didn't keep that. But I heard that he at some point held the bat with the wrong hand on top. He didn't do that for his whole career, right?
I don't know.
I don't think he did.
This is talking about him as a kid. Because it says, although he batted cross-handed, Aaron established himself as a power hitter. As a result, in 49, at the age of 15, he had his first tryout with an MLB franchise, the Brooklyn Dodgers. Well-known Brooklyn franchise. However,
That's
he
a
did not
throwback.
make the team.
That's a great throwback.
Well done. So I know that he didn't keep that, Andrew, and I've never known if that's actually real or not. But I've constantly brought that up to impress people by how smart I am.
So as when he was being good, he wasn't okay.
I don't think so.
would, because if he was, I would be going, maybe people should try that.
Right? Yeah. I know. My dad has been every now and then, because my son used to hold the bat like that, and I'd be like, "Hey, Hank Aaron used to hold the bat like that."
If I were Andrew, I'd be hiding under a table right now.
I'm
just saying.
I never claimed to know anything about baseball history. I know Yogi Berra liked to say weird things.
Hey, boo boo boy.
I know
Picnic baskets.
Wait,
stop it.
Oh, that's Yogi Bear.
Sorry.
Pete Rose is who's banned from baseball for betting.
Yep.
Which, like everyone else has been doing since then, but he was the one they decided to make an example of, is my impression.
He's the one that got caught.
So, Andrew, you know Hank Aaron, Willie Mays, right?
Yeah, I know Willie Mays.
You didn't know
Doesn't
Stan
Willie Mays sell
Musial?
things?
You didn't know Stan Musial?
No,
Andrew,
I'm not joking around. I don't think I've ever heard that name.
Andrew remember, Justin, Andrew became a sports fan, by and large, when we were in college. So he doesn't have that.
That's accurate.
He does not have the institutional knowledge that we grew up with.
Growing up, I only remember Ken Griffey Jr.
Yeah.
And the Mariners. I don't even remember the Seahawks growing up.
So you know Cal Ripken Jr.
I only know Cal Ripken Jr. because Daniel hates
you're gonna
Cal
piss...
Ripken so much.
That's Cal Ripken baseball, not the player.
But that's why I know the name.
That was my favorite player growing up. That's my childhood hero. It was Cal Ripken Jr. and Dan Marino.
I know Dan Marino.
And you didn't know Rod Carew.
No.
Which, okay.
Rod Carew's kind of fringe.
That's a fringe. Well, yeah.
I mean...
But you didn't know Carl Yastrzemski? You didn't know Yaz?
Yaz? I mean, he's a Gentile, Justin.
What are we...
How did you not know Ted Williams?
Ted Williams was the
We've
surprising one
talked
to
about
me.
Ted Williams on the show. Daniel would marry Ted Williams if he was here right now. He loves him so much.
Close.
Ted Williams...
As long as, like, Anchor could have his DNA.
Have you never heard, like, Have you never heard the, like, people being like, "Oh, Mike Trout is just a modern day Ted Williams," and
If
like,
I have not
literally
heard that.
in this room
That
with
makes Ted
Daniel.
Williams sound
If Ted
pretty good.
Williams could act as like a surrogate.
What's happening right now? I was saying, you have oozed over Ted Williams at this table that we are currently sitting.
It's true.
I'm sorry. I clearly don't listen well enough.
Andrew doesn't listen to us. We've already known that, though.
You know Pete Rose.
Yeah.
You know Mickey Mantle.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know Yogi Berra.
Yeah.
Yep.
You didn't know Al Kaline, even though he has a really funny name.
I don't know that name at all.
Because it's like alkaline.
Yeah.
Honestly, Al Kaline, I've heard the name, but I don't really know about him.
Brooks Robinson.
No idea who that is.
He's so good.
Incredibly famous Oriole.
That
Tony
would explain
Gwynn.
why you know who it is. I know Tony
Dude,
Gwynn.
dude, speaking of... Remember
here's
when I
the
was
thing.
talking...
Well, Brooks Robinson and
I
Frank
wanna be
Robinson
very
played on
clear.
great Oriole teams together.
Of these names, I don't know anything about them.
Dude.
Other than Yogi Berra with the.
I'm not even asking that. I'm asking if you know the name.
I know. I'm just being clear that I also don't know anything. You're like, oh, this guy, this thing about them. I'm like, no. I mean, I've heard that name.
Remember how I was talking weird about other teams' broadcasts? The San Diego Padres broadcast, creepy, super creepy. Tony Gwynn's son is the color commentator. He sounds exactly like his late father. Like, you hear his voice.
And you heard his late father enough that it's creepy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I've seen interviews and stuff with Tony Gwynn. He died because of mouth cancer from...
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But his son, Tony Gwynn Jr., exactly like him.
Tony Gwynn,
It freaks me out.
Like, Tony Gwynn retired in 2001.
Yeah.
Like, this is not an old-timey baseball player.
Sounds old-timey. Tony Gwynn.
Don't tell me that
Pretty
2001 was 23 years ago, or I'm going to punch you.
Pretty old-timey.
Ozzie Smith. The Wizard.
I know Ozzy.
Ozzie Smith.
I don't know
The
Ozzy
Wizard.
Smith.
I was a little surprised that he was on there for as many All-Star games as he had, because he wasn't as good of a hitter as he was a defender. And
he was flashy, though.
Baseball is much predicated on how good of a hitter you are. Like, the Gold Glove Awards are a complete joke, because most of the time they go to the best hitter who is also a decent fielder.
Andrew, have you ever heard of Derek Jeter? Have you ever heard of Alex Rodriguez?
Both of those are really overrated Yankees, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of Ivan Rodriguez?
Actually, did you hear Alex on This Week?
That was a cool interview.
It did make me wish I didn't hate him as much as I. This is the thing.
I'm really conflicted about
pure
that.
Emotion.
Yeah, I'm so conflicted about that.
I remember the emotion of like, oh, he left and he said he wasn't going to.
Yeah. Also,
which makes me feel like I should forgive him, because it's just pure, like, teenage.
Also, how about Joe
preteen.
DiMaggio? Have you ever heard of Joe DiMaggio?
No.
Joltin' Joe?
I have heard of Joe DiMaggio.
You didn't even watch Peanuts when you were a kid?
I've heard of Joe DiMaggio, also an overrated Yankee.
Mariano Rivera?
The most overrated Yankee.
Okay, I have one more, and I'm going to throw it out there, and I'm going to be pissed if you tell me you've never heard of this guy. Roberto Clemente.
I thought I was going to have to act, but no, I've never heard of that guy. Get out of
Andrew,
here.
gosh dang it. He's got a freaking award named after him.
Is he a Mariner?
No.
Did he play in the last 10 years?
No, but I'm pretty
well, then
sure.
Why would I know his name?
Didn't Felix Hernandez, or who won the Roberto Clemente award recently?
Felix did.
A Mariner
Felix
won his
didn't
award.
Win anything recently?
I don't care that you didn't know who he was, but the fact that you don't know his name makes me upset, because he's got a freaking award around.
Hold on, I'm going to look up the list of Roberto Clemente award winners.
I'm upset about that
when
one.
When is this award announced?
Oh, Nelson Cruz won it.
Nelson, so it's the award for like who's the best guy in the league.
The Gold Glove and Silver.
Oh, Edgar
Slugger,
Martinez also won it.
I can think of that I know are the Cy Young. Like, I can't think off the top of my head of any other baseball award.
Edgar Martinez and Jamie Moyer both won it as Mariners.
That makes sense, because they were amazing.
You know the football award for like Man of the Year?
I couldn't tell you what it is, but I know there is.
You know what I'm talking about, though, right? Yeah. Roberto Clemente is the baseball version.
I couldn't tell you the.
You know what sucks is I can't think of the football guy's name right now either.
I will say,
Justin, do you know? Hey, hold up before you tell him, Justin. Don't stop Googling. Justin, what is the name of the award for the football man of the year?
The Walter Payton Award. The one that Russell Wilson won?
Yeah. Crap. I forgot it was Walter Payton.
He knew it, and when I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, I would recognize that.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, Russell Wilson won it once.
Yeah.
And
Bobby Wagner should have won it.
I could not tell
Has
you
he won
who
it?
Walter Payton was, though. Daniel's now spending the rest of the show in the car.
He's angry because I just showed him my phone and I Googled it.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad that he's not angry because I was like, I don't know who that is.
No, he's angry because I cheated.
Justin said or showed me. You don't know who Walter Payton is?
No, I don't. No idea. I do recognize that name. Like I recognize. Oh yeah, the Walter Payton Man of the Year award. That's the NFL's like good person, good boy award of the year.
Okay, I don't mean to get anywhere close to Mike Salk. But at some point you have to Google some of this crap, Andrew.
I did. I Googled it.
Justin, what are we doing for the rest of the show? Can we be done?
We have a mailbag.
Do we?
Question.
Are you sure?
Yeah, we have a mailbag question from Anonymous. Which emojis do you use the most?
Wait, hold on.
The mailbag.
Yes,
Send
the
us your
mailbag.
stuff. Send us your stuff in a mailbag.
Emojis?
Yeah.
I'm a grown man.
Yeah.
I'm 40. I'm not 40.
Okay, Mike Gundy. Calm
I'm not
down.
actually 40.
To be clear, Daniel's not actually 40.
I'm pretty close.
You're gonna get there first.
Yeah.
Bro, we're
If
all...
it's a race to 40, I will crush you guys.
We are all on the wrong end of 35. This sucks.
You're so old.
At least I still hit nukes. Because not only do I get the pleasure of hitting a nuke, but I can say nukes.
Yeah.
Nukes.
In that really annoying accent. Nukes. I'm really nervous, by the way, about the wiffle ball tournament. What if I don't play well? I'm gonna
That
end
will
up.
be so
I'm gonna
embarrassing
end up.
for you.
I'm gonna end up being like Jorge Polanco or Mitch Garver. Well, I'm like the big addition to the team, or maybe not big addition, but I'm the off-season addition to the
Ego
team.
on this man.
I'm the off-season addition to this team, and I underperform.
Here's the thing. They wanted you.
I know. So did. I mean, that's what the Mariners front office tells us every year. We wanted Jorge Polanco. He's so good at striking out.
I was giving the players from this team options of people I could ask. Like, do you guys want to find your own person? Would you like me to ask this person? And then the response I got was, well, what about Daniel? And I was like, I was planning on Daniel playing on my team, but if you guys want Daniel, then that's fine. And there was unanimous agreement. We want Daniel on our team.
I am chuffed to bits, but also I'm feeling a lot of pressure.
What does chuffed mean?
I don't know. It's a British thing.
Okay.
It's,
Don't ask questions.
They feel tickled.
Okay.
Tickled pink.
Yeah.
Chuffed to bits. Tickled pink. Same thing. Also, Ian is very upset that I'm not playing on his team anymore.
Is he?
Yeah,
Why?
because he feels disrespected.
He can play with me, and that's fine.
Yeah. But what if Danny Burgers regresses?
I mean, is there any question that Danny Burgers will be regressing a little bit each year from now on?
Ouch.
Like, all of us have hit the point where we're not getting better, right?
In reality, I think the biggest off-season acquisition, Bodie Polar. Right? Like,
He's been there before, though.
I'm glad that he can take the pressure off of us. Like, adding Bodie Polar to our team is like adding Ken Griffey Jr.
Yeah, it's true. We've had Bodie before, though. We just
Have
didn't
we?
have Bodie last year.
you're
Remember?
right.
Because everybody got so mad about how good Bodie was at pitching, and they wanted to change the rules because of how good Bodie was at pitching.
Don't, Justin. I have blocked that year from my memory.
I love this narrative.
If you get me back to that year,
He was the Wilt Chamberlain of the wiffle ball tournament.
I might have a meltdown, especially when you add into the fact that my brother now plays for the team that, yeah, Jimmy's playing with Tracy.
Oh, with Tracy? With St. James Gate?
Yeah.
Who cares?
So my brother, remember, who was upset about the level of competition and competitiveness, is now playing with the most annoyingly competitive team at the tournament.
I want to throw this out there.
Yeah.
Jimmy,
Yeah.
over 40,
Yeah.
not that good anymore. I'm going to take him deep. I'm going to hit a home run off of Jimmy.
I'm going to throw this out there. I love you. But I'm glad I'm not on your team.
You know what? That's the beauty of my team.
I was conflicted.
It's fine. It's fine. Like, we're going to go out there. We're going to be as competitive as we can be. We're going to have a great time together.
Yeah.
If we win, we win. If we lose, we lose. It's fine. We'll move on.
I know. So you don't have any pressure.
You have the pressure.
I have the pressure to hit nukes.
And now that I said I was going to hit a home run off of Jimmy, now you have to do it.
Is Bodie going to complain about the fences being too far back too? #Junior. Did he ever do that, or did we all just assume that he did
No,
that?
he did it, but he did it like years afterwards.
Gotcha.
Right? Like he said, I think it might have been even post-retirement, that a factor was the distance of the fences at Safeco Field. I think it hurt. Like, it stung. It was one of those things that stung to read it.
Yeah.
That part of the reason he left.
Yeah.
Was
but that was late.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like A-Rod, who, while I listened to that interview and was like, man, maybe A-Rod wasn't such a bad guy. But then I remembered that, no, at the time, A-Rod said, oh, I just want to go where I can win a championship. And it's like, screw you.
Do you also remember?
And in this interview, he said, oh, it's hard to turn down $200 million more. Like, dude, if you would have said that at the time, it would have made more sense. I would have been upset still, but at least it would have been like, okay, at least you're honest. Don't give me that bull crap about how I just want to win when you're going to the worst team in the world.
Didn't he say I just want to win before he got offered $200 million more?
No, it was when he went too. Well, it might have been both.
I get the impression that the offering he got, it wasn't in the realm of like things that you expect to get at that point.
True. I'm pretty
so
sure
he said,
I
just want to go where I can win. And then somebody said, what if we offered you like 4 times what you were thinking was even possible?
I'm pretty sure the rhetoric was the same before and after.
I'm not trying to defend him. I'm just trying to like understand.
I am much more pro A-Rod now than I was before, Andrew.
Yeah.
But I wish he would have just been like, hey, they offered me a ludicrous amount of money.
Are you pro
at the time? If you would have been like, they offered me so much money, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And guess what? All the Mariners fans now, like everybody who's been texting me and saying they forgive him, it's because they've seen the track record of, oh yeah, the Mariners lowball everybody.
Yeah.
So, of course, Mariners fans now are like, oh yeah, maybe A-Rod wasn't such a bad guy because our ownership sucks.
But A-Rod's #1 reputation in the national circles right now.
Shut up, Francis. Nobody cares about what you want to say.
A-Rod's #1 reputation right now is like phony who pretends to be like just the nicest guy in the world.
True. But
he's
also,
fake, but it's all fake.
But also,
but how do we know it's fake?
I don't know.
Who cares?
I'm just like,
he actually knows about hitting because as much as Mike Salk is like, oh, OPS means everything. Yeah, you spent the whole segment drooling over Alex Rodriguez's OPS. You know who has good OPSs? Good hitters, not butt crack hitters who think that walking and hitting a home run is the only 2 outcomes. The freaking new baseball sucks giant bags.
Of what?
Everything.
That's the real reason that Daniel is now has good feelings for A-Rod is that A-Rod came out saying he thinks that the new stats that people are looking at are totally bullcrap.
It's true. And it's proven. Hasn't it proven itself, though? Since people have started focusing on those stats, offense has gotten worse and worse. You can't disagree with that.
Is that...
That's because they put too high of a value on that. And so, because they put a too high a value on that, people stopped learning how to hit correctly. And because they stopped learning how to hit correctly, they can't keep up with good pitching because all they know how to do is try and hit a home run. And guess what? You know what? Hitting a home run is really hard to do against? Better freaking pitching. But you know what's easier to do against better pitching? Trying to get a base hit. That's not as hard as hitting a home run. And so you know what? Now that the pitching has gotten better, people who only know how to hit home runs can't freaking hit. Sorry. Emojis, I use the crying laughy face and the crying face the most.
Which crying laughing face?
Then the straight up one.
The straight up one?
Not the turned one.
Yeah. Francis said you're a true OSU fan with your limited fake Mike Gundy impersonation. I'm a man, I'm 40. And I think that's an insult because when he says OSU, he's talking about Oklahoma State and what you wanted. You like is Oregon State. So
that makes sense.
One of those schools was founded before the other.
Which
and
one?
Yes, I have looked that up.
Okay.
Which one?
Oregon State.
Which one? Is Ohio State after those guys? Or?
I'm going to look it up right now. I'm looking it up.
Andrew, which emojis do you use the most?
So I use the big eyes emoji a lot, and I also use the with a monocle looking very weirdly.
What do you use? What's the context of you using that emoji?
Usually when someone sends me something that I'm like, okay,
so
you're being that.
Okay.
Suck it, Ohio State. Yeah. They were founded in 1870. Oregon State founded in 1868.
The
OG OSU. Eat a bag. Giant bag.
Of what?
Hamburgers from Dick's.
You know what? I've been threatening the whole show, but I'm done.
You're going to go walk out and sit in your car?
I'm going to walk out.
Okay.
Sit in my car.
I'll see you in a few minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm out.
Bye, Daniel.
Done with this crap.
I think he's quitting forever.
He's so angry.
I use the crying with laughter emoji where it's tilted a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
I also like to combine the sunglasses emoji with what to me is the shaka emoji, but I think it's actually call me. I think it's a call me emoji, but I use it as a shaka emoji or like hang loose for all you whiteys out there. But yeah, and then the fire emoji is another one I like to use. Like if someone's on fire, like Elma Intermediate Little League right now.
Sure.
So I think that's probably going to do it for today's show. So let's wrap this thing up. So for my co-host, Daniel, I'm not myself today, Hargrove. And my trusty producer, Andrew, doesn't know who... What was the worst one? Doesn't know who Hank Aaron is.
No, I knew who Hank Aaron... It was Ted Williams was the one
Ted
that
Williams.
I probably should have known.
Delete that. And for my trusty producer, Andrew, I don't know who Ted Williams is. Gross.
That was so embarrassing.
Justin Domashevitz, and you have been listening to The Scrimmage.
Justin, I'm perfectly normal, Dom.